Run your feet! Finish!
The Gameday Broadcast Network is proud to present Football Media Day. Football Media Day is brought to you by Lark Brewing Company and Restaurant, Loudoun's #1 destination for great food and great times. And by Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy. When you need to get back in the game or the game of life, call Robin O'Connor and Integrated Sports Medicine today.
Hundreds of high school athletes have trusted Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy to help them get back on the field. Don't let that injury go untreated. Call Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy today at 703-724-7474 or visit us online at integratedsportspt.com. It's where athletes go to get back in the game.
Hi, I'm Mike Burnett, head coach at Briar High School. We're really excited about this season. This is kind of a season, 2024 that we've kind of been building towards. It's my 4th season at the school, and so this is the group that kind of came in as freshmen with us, and we were really trying to build. We started with a 1-9 season 3 years ago, and kind of escalated to losing last year in the regional championship, and so that's kind of where we want to move on from. We think we can continue to get to that level and push it to the next level this year. One of the big reasons is a lot of the returning players that we have. We have our quarterback coming back, Brady Carmichael, and he's been playing for us at the varsity level for 4 years. That hasn't happened very often for me, and it's a huge asset to have somebody come back and be able to run the offense with me that I feel comfortable with. And I'm pretty excited that the things I think we're going to be able to do offensively, because he's got a lot of tools around him. He's got a couple of receivers, Colin Capistrant and Tyler Yoder, who are 2-year starters as well. And then our tailback is a JMU commit, Trey Dudley. And so we feel at the skill position we're about as good as we've been, and can really hope to be, I think, in these days. Obviously the question marks are up front, and that's where games are won and lost. And so, the young guys that are going to have to play there and guys we've had to move there are a big question mark for us. But that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it exciting. To see how those guys evolve, how we can come together, and can we make it all work. As far as defensively goes, I think, and this is pretty much true for a lot of guys nowadays, it's pretty much those same guys. We're so many two-way players. It's so hard. That's one, I think, of the big challenges of our size school right now, which is that we always kind of try to have offensive units and defensive units, and we're really forced to use the same guys on both sides of the ball. And so obviously your conditioning, your training is going to play, and staying healthy is going to be a big factor. I think defensively we'll be led by Lucas Roser, who's second team All-State linebacker. And we got him in the middle, and all those skill guys on the back end. I think you'll see Brady Carmichael play linebacker for us. He hasn't even decided whether he wants to play quarterback or linebacker in college yet, and that's a pretty great asset. So, and again, I think we'll get after the ball, but we're not going to be a big team. We're not a big team. We're not going to push people around. We're going to have to be a little bit more finesse, I think, than I have been in my career, which is, I guess, at this point in my career makes it interesting. Get to have a different twist instead of the same old stuff. And so our expectations are pretty high, but to be honest, they're always pretty high. We don't really set low expectations. So we want to make a run at the state every year. I think this is the first year we can honestly say that we could do that. But we've got some great games out there. We got some really good teams. We open up with John Champ, who I think is going to be an excellent football team. And then we've got Stonebridge, which is always the hurdle. It's the measuring stick to get through our region. And we've also got Fort Hill, a 3-time defending Maryland state champ that we put on the schedule. which will be fun to go up to Cumberland County and play them. And they're a super tough physical team, I think, that helps us down the road. So all in all, it should be an exciting year and should be a very different one than some of the ones we've had in the past.
Coach, it's great to have you back again, and certainly you've had a lot of fun years to cover your teams. This one kind of seems like it's going to be one that people should take notice of. Again, it all starts at the quarterback spot, but you've had 3 years with these guys playing on varsity, and they seem to be kind of primed to kind of be some of the best in the region, not only just individually, but as a group. Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, I like to think we run a pretty creative offense, and so much of it is being able to work together and to be on the same page with those guys. Like, already it's fun how quickly we can change things, we can adapt things, and I think that'll give us a big advantage in games, is what we can, when things aren't going right, and they're not going to go right. I think with those guys to have, to have 4 guys in the huddle who've been starting for 3 years is pretty special. And I think how they go will go, and I'm okay with that. So
looking at the schedule, certainly your kids will circle Stonebridge, they'll circle Independence. Those are big games. They're all big games. Just curious, you and Mickey Thompson have been friends for a long time. I know you always have enjoyed playing against his teams. Just your thoughts on, he's not there now. It's a whole new regime, and which is going to be exciting for the Stonebridge fans. But just curious on your thoughts, because I know you've really enjoyed competing against him.
Yeah, good riddance, right? I mean, no, I honestly miss him already. I really do. It's like people don't know that. I mean, you know that about us, but very few people know that. It's about Mickey and I, that we've kind of been, toe to toe, and we've always kind of been each other's measuring sticks year to year for going back to Broad Run and when I was at Tuscarora, and then I'm honestly just slightly disappointed personally, because I felt like this is a year that we might have been able to get him, and for all the great teams Briarwoods have, they've never beaten Stonebridge, and so obviously that's a big game for us, and so we know he's left, but he's a program builder, and I like to think I try to do the same thing, and so we know that the program he left in place is not going to fall apart. They brought in great coaching, they've got great players, and so it'll just be different, and I think that's life, right? At this point in life, you realize so many things are different, and coaching, in Northern Virginia without Mickey Thompson is definitely going to be one of those things to get used to. So,
talk a little about any staff changes, anything that's gone on this year that you want to update. Anybody new that you brought in?
Yeah, we're excited. I got a young staff. I got Coach Babick has come back on staff, who played at Parkview and coached those great Briarwoods teams, and he's come back. And I've got JT Logan, who played on those teams, and so we got a little bit of history. We're trying to bring back some of those great years. Trace has come out and talked with our kids, and he's actually thrown with some of our receivers at times. So we're trying to get the kids to connect to really those really incredible teams that Briar had, and hopefully we can be a team one day people remember too.
Coach, when you look ahead, and you talked a little bit about some of the challenges with the schedule and so forth, but where do you need to get better right now as a team? Like, after your first scrimmage, you said it was a little sloppy. That's always the case. But where do you feel like you need to really improve before you start the season?
Yeah, we got to be more consistent up front. I mean, that's I know I talk to other coaches here, and we all are really thin as far as getting. I've always loved linemen. They don't make linemen anymore, right? In this world, they don't, because linemen are kids who never touch the ball, who sacrifice themselves, who work hard without having their name called. And I just think we live in a world where there's fewer and fewer people who want to do that. And I think that's what we're seeing. I think that's what we're seeing in the football world, is there's lots of great skill guys, and yet there's not a lot of teams that just have got, can roll out 1, 2, 3 sets of linemen that a lot of the programs around here have historically done. And so now we're kind of trying to piece together, make linemen and move people around. And I don't think we're alone in doing that. But I think that'll be our biggest challenge. How quickly, we'll have 4 guys up front who didn't play offensive line for us last year. So how quickly they can adapt, come together, work together, I think they have the ability to. But how quickly they can do that will be how fast we can get out of the gates.
We were just talking a minute ago before we started that your first media day was 2006. It's amazing how fast time goes. This is your third school in Loudoun County that you've been at. Just curious, your thoughts. You're kind of the elder statesman of the group nowadays. Curious on what you've seen change in our area, good or bad. What is it that you kind of noticed that you're coaching in an environment today that maybe in 06 wasn't the same? Or what do you think?
Yeah. Well, we don't have long enough to handle all that's changed in Loudoun County, especially in football, in the last 18 years, but there's, I think the biggest things, I think from a, from a negative side, I think it's that we have grown so much and we've diluted our communities, that we're trying to hold on to those old rivalries, are hard because kids are moving and families are moving and people are moving and coaches are moving. And there's so much movement of kids that it's hard to have that, again, that, the Briar, the Broad Run Parkview game in 2006 will be one of the great, it wasn't even a playoff game, but it was, if you said, what are your greatest moments as a coach? That's what it was. And it wasn't because of the football. It wasn't because of the talent. It was because the kids loved their school. The crowd loved their team. I just felt like, that is losing. We're holding on for dear life with that, to try to keep people connected to their communities and their teams. And so I'm hoping this next generation of coaches can figure it out, because the things that work for us are hard, On a positive side, always trying to end positive, I think, it's definitely the quality of football here, and I think, the attention you personally have brought to it, I think made a huge difference, and I think that Loudoun County football, and I'm without being, disrespectful of what it was 20 years ago, I feel like every week we're playing good teams and good coaches and Division I athletes. I mean, and I feel like that, that really didn't used to be the case. And I think that that's exciting for kids, that they're in a region that the quality of football is far above average. I think if you go around the country, I don't think Virginia football gets its fair due as far as consistency. I know at the top end, obviously, it'd be hard to compete with some of these monster schools nationally. But I think, the top 10% of schools in Virginia measure up pretty well. And I think that's been a big change that I've seen.
Expectation-wise, is this a team, you've had them, you won state championships before, you've played in them before, finished just shy of Tuscarora, but, is this a team that you would put up there with the capability to make a run, in your opinion?
Yeah, I absolutely. I always like to think that. I'm not somebody who ever doesn't think that, but realistically, yes. Do a lot of things have to happen for us? Absolutely. We got to stay healthy. We're, and we got to get some depth, and we got to get, some of the kids that we're not talking about are going to have to play really well. And we got to find a way to beat Stonebridge, right? Because that's something that hasn't happened for us for a while. And I think when we can do that, we definitely have the possibility.
Coach, as always, it's great to talk to you, man. We wish you all the best this year. The Falcons and the fans should be excited. It sounds like good season ahead. So best of luck to you, buddy.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
There you go, Ken. Hey. That's football. Run your feet. Hey,
Finish. The Gameday Broadcast Network is proud to present Football Media Day. Football Media Day is brought to you by Lark Brewing Company and Restaurant, Loudoun's #1 destination for great food and great times. And by Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy. When you need to get back in the game or the game of life, call Robin O'Connor and Integrated Sports Medicine today.
Hundreds of high school athletes have trusted Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy to help them get back on the field. Don't let that injury go untreated. Call Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy today at 703-724-7474 or visit us online at integratedsportspt.com. It's where athletes go to get back in the game.